welcome back podcast.
We are podcast listening for your ear pleasure.
We hope you like very much podcast. We talk about work and stuff.
I can't
Fuck my work wife a podcast.
I can't do a Russian accent.
No? Why you know?
We like drink vodka and play.
Lit very racist. We
Rummy
not all
cube.
drink. We not all drink vodka. We like a Coors Light and the wine.
The wine?
Yes, very good.
Welcome to Fuck My Work Life, everyone.
Welcome to the Fuck My Work Life podcast.
This is the podcast where we share your workplace stories and have a good giggle about them.
Giggle.
We like to giggle.
Giggle.
How are you?
I'm good.
It's Saturday. We're
It's
recording on a Saturday.
Yep.
You'll be listening to this on a Wednesday, maybe.
Yep.
It's lovely weather outside.
It is. The weather was really nice today.
I'm drinking a White Claw.
I'm drinking a Colorado Kool-Aid,
That's right.
a.k.a. Coors Light, baby.
The mountains are blue. You know it's true.
That's right, baby. My mountains ain't blue no more.
No, I think you got a warm beer. Womp womp.
It's actually just empty.
Yeah. that will also turn the mountains gray.
Yeah.
That's sad. Nothing sadder than an empty beer.
Womp, womp, womp.
So I've got a list for you.
Okay.
It's some crazy jobs around the world.
Uh-oh.
These are jobs that people actually do for a living. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of like share some weird jobs around the world.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Kind of goes with the theme of the podcast, I suppose. Okay. So the first job is a professional pusher. So this is in Japan, and which is a very heavily populated country, and their subway system or train system gets so crowded that there are people that their sole job is to push the people into the train so the doors can close.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder what that pays.
I don't know. I don't ever want to be on a train in Japan, though. That is
fuck no.
My worst nightmare.
I've seen that on YouTube before where like the guys, there's like handles outside the door where they grab the handles and use their fucking feet to push people in. I
cannot imagine being on that train. I would be having the biggest anxiety attack of my life. Just being around that many people.
If that happened in America, how many Karens would lose their fucking shit?
Well, there would just be lawsuits left and right.
Yeah.
Like, Americans love their lawsuits.
Oh, yeah.
He pushed me too hard. I want $1 million for pain and suffering.
His foot got stuck in my cooter.
What is with you and cooter?
Cooters. I like the word. It's a good word. Takes me back to my childhood.
It reminds me of Hooters. It could be. You can start your own restaurant chain.
Hooters and cooters.
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 I don't even want to think about what
everything shaped like a cooter.
Oh no!
You want cooter onion rings? We got them.
I wonder what the
cooter steak.
The uniforms would look like.
Cooter steak only comes rare.
Ew! Good God.
What?
Oh, man. Okay. Next crazy job. I don't even think this one is crazy, but a professional sleeper. So I guess for sleep studies and whatever, they just sleep and...
And where is this?
I don't know where this one was. I think this is kind of anywhere. Like I did a sleep study once. I didn't get paid for it, and it certainly wasn't my full-time job.
Well, because you weren't professional.
I was not a professional sleeper.
Yeah.
But I guess people, I don't know if they're testing sleep aids or just testing like brainwave patterns of people while they sleep, but it's a job.
I mean, there's people who they're professional sleepers and they have day jobs.
I mean,
one of my exes could sleep like 14 fucking hours.
What is that like?
I would never want that.
I've never been able to sleep that long. I don't think I've gotten 8 hours of sleep in the past 10 years, like a night, not collectively.
Well, at least the last like 5-6 years, because
you're snoring.
I snore like a fucking monster truck.
Yeah, but no, I feel like even before we met, I just don't. I've always been a morning person. So I've always been an early riser, falling asleep early at night. But even on the rare occasions I stay up late, it doesn't matter how late I stay up. I'm wide awake by like 6 a.m. 6 a.m. is sleeping in for me.
Yeah.
Which sucks because all the fun stuff happens at night.
Well, I guess I'm a morning person because I wake up early, but I'm not happy when I do.
Well, I'm also not happy when
I wake up early, but I would also consider myself like a night owl because I like to stay up late, but I can't because the only time I can stay up late is if I'm drinking. And then...
See, I'm the opposite. If I drink, I cannot keep my eyes
open. If you drink,
open.
you're out.
Yeah.
Even if you don't drink.
Well, yeah.
8 o'clock
but it's
comes
worse
around,
if I drink.
8 o'clock comes around and you're nodding.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter where I am or what I'm doing. I have fallen asleep at concerts, in nightclubs. There's one story of, I don't know, I was probably 22. I was really young, and a bunch of friends went out to like some like ravey, like EDM dance club. Yeah. And we were going to dance all night long. And I found a cozy chair in like one of the upstairs rooms and sat down and fucking fell asleep. I've not been able to live that down.
There have been a few times where we're sitting on the couch and it's like, oh, we should watch this. And I look at my watch and it's like 7:45. And I'm like, okay, so you want to make me watch some shit that I don't want to watch 15 minutes before I know you're going to be asleep.
Oh, that super professional. That was the phone.
Yeah, that was my
That's
phone.
Okay. It happens. I've heard many podcasts, like I get so nitpicky, like when I'm editing our podcast. But I hear, like listening to all these podcasts now, I'm starting to hear all those little background noises. And I'm like, it's fine. Stop being such a freaking perfectionist. Well, okay. Okay, anyway, professional sleeper.
Anywho, yeah, so what was I saying before my phone interrupted us? Oh, that you want to start watching something that's... I don't think you've ever done it with movies.
No, because I'm not a movie person.
Yeah, but it's like you want to watch a show.
Like an hour-long show.
Yeah, like a 45-minute, hour-long show, and it's 7:45, and I don't want to watch this show. I mean, I'll watch anything because I don't, it's watching TV. Like, you don't really have to be in it. You can just watch it. But I know when you bring this up, so I'm going to watch at least half an hour where you're not watching. You're watching the back of your eyelids.
Yeah. I fight real hard sometimes to try to stay awake, and I just lose the battle every time.
There's times where you fight it so much that you look awake, but then I look over and your eyes are closed.
I've become really good at pretending to be awake.
Yep.
Okay. The next one, this one's also in Japan, I believe, is a professional stand-in liner.
A what?
A professional
like they stand in line for people?
Stand-in liner. So if there's a long queue of some sort, you can hire someone to basically stand in line for you until they're close to the front of the line, and then they'll, I guess, call you up and you can go take your place in line. So you can continue on with your life while this professional stand-in liner waits for you.
That's called overpopulation.
That's just called... My time is so much better than everyone else's. I can't stand in a line.
Well, yeah, but yeah, there's that. But there's also like the people who do it.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jack. What do you do?
I stand in line.
I stand in line for people.
Hi.
Could you imagine?
I stand in line.
I'm a professional stand-in-liner. I stand in line for people.
I like to just stand there and look at my phone and get paid. I mean, it doesn't sound like a horrible gig. You have to be a really patient person, though.
Exactly.
Although I wonder if whatever is at the end of the line, if that's not something you care about, if it really matters. Like if you're just standing there to stand there, would you get impatient?
Or if someone hired you to stand in line for the newest Star Wars movie and you liked Star Wars. And
you just don't call them when you get to the front of the line.
Yeah. You say, I only take payment up front, and you stand in line, and then...
Or you call them after the movie's over.
Yeah.
Your turn's up, and then you're nowhere to be found.
Oh man, I fell asleep. I'm also a professional sleeper, so I mean, they called me and they told me to just fall asleep where I was, and so I did. And
oh well.
I mean,
no refunds.
Yeah, sorry, we don't give refunds.
Okay, so the next one is a deodorant tester.
I would do that.
No. This isn't putting the deodorant on to see if it works. This is smelling people's armpits to see if the deodorant works.
How much it pay?
I don't know. Not enough.
Yeah.
Like, it's great if it actually works, but if you're like sniffing a line of pits and it doesn't work, just that raw onion smell of BO. Gross.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think, I mean, if it was a huge salary, okay, I'd suck it up, but I don't think something like that is going to pay very well.
I mean, I can't, and you don't know where this happens either.
I don't know where this happens. I'm guessing this is also something that would happen anywhere where deodorant is manufactured or tested.
Yeah. Where do you think it's? Never mind.
Okay, so, and then the last one I have for you is a car plate blocker, like car plate meaning license plate. So in Iran, because the congestion is so bad, they've enacted this, like, I don't know if it's a law or just statute or whatever, where depending on like the last number of your license plate determines what day you can drive. So basically,
what the fuck?
Yeah. So basically, if you have like an odd number ending license plate, you can only drive on like Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, or whatever, whatever it is. So there are people that will just come and just stand behind your car and block your license plate so they can't record.
Yeah, but what about when you drive?
Well,
what are these motherfuckers?
Well, I think it's still very congested, so it's like stop and go traffic.
So what's the point of driving?
I don't know.
You can just, if it's stop and go traffic, you can walk everywhere you need to go.
Well, not necessarily. If you have to get somewhere very far, but it's just like going somewhere in LA. It can take you an hour and a half to go 2 miles.
I'm going to guess in Iran, being stuck in a car for a couple hours would be much worse than walking down a sidewalk for a couple hours.
There.
Yeah, is it
humid there? It's probably humid there, right? I don't know. Yeah, so I thought that was funny. Like, people will just stand in front of your license plate so they can't. I don't know if it's like CCTV. I don't know what they have there, where it just kind of blocks maybe pictures being taken of your license plate or something. Maybe it's just around areas where there are cameras. Or, I don't know.
We work with some Iranians. We should ask them.
Yeah. There's a lot more, but that's all I'm going to give you today for the crazy jobs.
That works.
Around the world.
That works.
Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Yeah.
Jazz.
That's the theme song for Crazy Jobs Around the World.
Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Yeah.
I've had some strange jobs, especially like the year and a half that I was doing just kind of freelance work, but we can get into that in another episode.
Yeah. I have a story from my neighbor who had a pretty strange occurrence, like a regular occurrence. So I had a neighbor who was a in-home nurse.
Okay.
So she would go to people's houses and take care of them, make sure they had their medication, take their vitals, so they didn't have to constantly go to the doctor. And she had a guy who had dementia. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like the dementia most people think of. Most people think of dementia and it's like, what time is it?
Yeah.
Every 2 minutes, what time is it? This guy was, what'd she call it? He was very randy.
Oh, see, you learned a word.
Yeah, she was English. The nurse.
Oh, okay.
She was English. And so
British?
She said that his dementia caused him to be very randy with everyone.
Do you all remember what randy means from our first episode?
It's horny.
Yes, that's right.
So she would go to his house. She would go in and she would make sure that everything.
Can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Go for it.
Are we sure he had dementia or was he just a horny old man?
Who cares?
Okay.
I mean,
doesn't matter.
If he didn't, good on him.
Okay, sorry, go on with your story.
So she would go in and she would go in the house and she would make sure that all of his medications were up to date, and he had the latest prescription. And the guy was married, so he had a wife.
Mm-hmm. Was his wife like there, or was she?
Yeah,
at
no,
home,
the wife
or?
was there.
Okay.
The wife was there.
Right.
But when it came to like taking his vitals, well, first of all, she would walk in, and the guy had his chair that he was always in,
Like a lazy boy recliner.
like his this was his chair, and she would walk in, and the wife would meet her at the door, and they would go and look at his prescriptions and look at everything that she needed to look at before she went to him, just to make sure like the house was in order and he wasn't in any danger. And then she would go to him, and as soon as he would see her, he would look at her and go, "Oh, look at the titties on that."
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What did she do?
Well, the wife was off to the side, just nonstop apologizing.
That's so sad.
And the old man would be like, "Oh, come here. Yeah, let's like come here. Look at you." And she would go to like take his vitals, and she said that every time she would go there and take his vitals, it was like trying to wrap the blood pressure strap around him while also fighting off hands.
Oh, no.
and just the constant like barrage of
geez.
Shit that nowadays like you would definitely get canceled for this.
Oh,
Like the cancel culture, they would not have
That's
this
why
shit.
I'm just wondering if this guy's like, now's my chance.
Yeah, exactly. But she said she had this guy for years.
Oh.
For years.
Did he do the same thing to his wife? Do we know?
Oh, I don't know. She didn't say, but it's fucking hilarious. It's sad in a way because there's so many different ways that dementia affects people, and people don't know. I mean, the most common is, just for the short-term memory.
Right.
But they still remember like memories from 40 years ago, 50 years ago. They have those memories, but their short-term memory.
I wonder if when I get older, if I get dementia, if I'll remember all the shit I don't remember from my life now, because my memory's horrible.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember a lot of my life, and I'm not like I was never a drug addict or a drinker. I just have a shitty memory, so maybe that all that stuff will come flooding back when I get older, and it'll just be like, oh, I had a pretty cool life.
Yeah. Could be.
But yeah, dementia's horrible. It's sad, but it's kind of funny that it just turned him into like a little horny old man.
Fucking a predator.
Yeah.
A predator who did not give a fuck. No hiding in bushes, no peeking through windows. It's just like, you come to my house, I'm grabbing it shit.
So did his nurse just laugh it off?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like you said she was British. I feel like they're a little bit more...
Oh, yeah. They're a little bit thicker
looser.
Skin.
Yeah, when it comes to that. Just kind of like, whatever.
Oh, she would crack up telling us this story. She was cracking up telling us this story.
Little confidence boost every time she goes to visit him. That's funny. We are going to pause briefly for a drink refresher break.
Yes. And we're back.
We're back. I just opened another White Claw, and it smells like a watermelon Jolly Rancher.
I'm having a latte.
Coors latte.
Coors latte. That's right, baby.
We're not going to get into the Coors again. It is a great beer there. I don't care what anyone says.
What do you mean we're not going to get into it?
Well, we already went into the whole thing at the beginning.
Mouths are bleeding. That was true, baby.
All that shit. So maybe we can read some listener stories.
I've got a story.
Yeah, let's hear it.
It's called The Hand. Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, no? Okay. That's all right. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's the hand, not the hand job. Sorry. Okay.
You're such a dude sometimes.
There was this really cool self-proclaimed hippie type girl in a large office I worked in during a holiday break.
I just picture her just dancing slowly around the office with beads jangling.
Yeah. No bra.
No bra. Long flowy skirt.
Flip-flops.
Just fucking loving life.
the circle, like Janis Joplin glasses.
Yeah. Bottle of Jack Daniels in her hands. Okay, maybe not.
Anywho,
Yeah.
she was into astrology, tarot cards, fortunes, and the like. Also, in her office section was a really mean older lady who liked to intimidate and bully other workers. So I'm kind of torn on this story already.
Why?
Because you know my feelings for old people. And you know my feelings for hippies.
I think it's just you can just end with your feelings for people.
No. And kids.
And another thing. Ooh, that was loud. Sorry.
Okay. She would get irritated with
Wait, you didn't say what you already have an issue with.
Oh, I don't. Oh, my issue? I don't know which side to take already.
Oh, okay.
Because already
you don't like either
I
of
don't
them?
like either of them. I like everyone.
Yeah. Peace and love. Peace
Anywho,
and love.
She would get irritated with hippie ladies' free-form ways, even though they did the same amount of work. Since I was in a different section, I would do my best to avoid her section unless I absolutely had to go in there, or she was away from her desk. One day, hippie lady wanted to read palms of the people she liked in the office. Yeah, I don't like her.
You, not you. You, come with me.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, you cool, fuck you.
I'm out.
She'd never done it before, but brought a book in with her on palm reading and wanted to practice. She had to do this in between other work and didn't want her mean coworker to know. I don't like either of them. She stopped by our section, but I was in another part of the office and missed her. When I came back to my desk, she left me a message to photocopy my palm.
That seems legit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she just wanted to practice. I don't think she was like, photocopy your palm and leave it on my desk with a $10 bill and I'll read it.
Tell your future.
Yeah. She left me a message to make a photocopy of my palm and she read it for me later. I went to the copy room and made a copy of my hand, gave it to her, and promptly forgot about it. Hours later, mean coworker went into the copy room to copy some tax papers. She made about 30 copies and then started ranting and screaming that there was a handprint on every single copy. Yeah, good for that fucking grumpy bitch.
At least it wasn't a butt print.
Ooh.
You know, you got to photocopy your butt at the office party. Hey.
Smush that cooter all over it.
Oh, my God. I'm going to make you a t-shirt that says cooter.
Cooter.
What if that ends up being like our first merch is going to be like freaking cooter.
Cooter. And then it'll end up being my nickname. Cooter.
Hey, it's Cooter.
Hey, Cooter.
It's Cooter coming at you.
She wiped down the machine and started making copies again. I surreptitiously called hippie lady at her desk to tell her what happened because I was scared. Hippie lady, that's fucked up that you're scared of someone at work.
Right.
Hippie lady laughed and said not to worry. She'd never tell. And it was the best karma for the mean lady to receive.
Yeah. See, I'm on hippie lady's side.
Yeah. I mean, I still don't like either of them. But the hippie lady is definitely, she's cool,
She's
a little higher on the ladder in this story than that grumpy cunt.
Just be chill. Be cool, man. I've been scared of people at work before. When I was younger, I've gotten to an age where I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks about me at this point.
Yeah, like, I think when you're younger, I think when you're younger, you don't understand how the workplace works. And so, you know, a lot of people think that, oh, if I look at them wrong, they can just fire me.
Yeah, but also just being, for me personally, I was very shy. I'm still shy to a point, but I was very shy growing up and not wanting to upset anyone or, you know, say the wrong thing. And I would just be terrified if there was a strong personality. They didn't have to be mean. They just had to be a strong personality. And I've just gotten to a point where I'm like, this is meaningless. Whatever happens, happens. Like, I'm here making money. So if you want to be an asshole, fuck you. That's on you. And it's kind of a great place to be.
I'm definitely, I mean, when I was younger, I was scared of, not scared. Like I was scared of people that I worked with, but not like scared of violence.
No.
Scared of like repercussions. But there have been times, even in the recent years, where I have been scared of people, but because of their mental state.
Oh,
Like you hear something about someone at work and you're like, fuck, I need to bring that guy candy. Like I need to bring him candy
Just
like at least once a month.
Well, that's a whole other conversation that this podcast is not about, but the fact that we have to worry about mental illness in this country and whether or not someone's going to come shoot something up because we have no real care for the mentally ill, but we're not going to get into that.
Yeah, I don't want to get into that.
But yeah, there's been a couple times where someone has said something to me at work where I am scared of what might happen because of their mental stability.
Yeah.
But besides that, I've worked for a lot of people that are kind of higher up, because living in Silicon Valley for like 6 years and working in companies that were dealing with the tech industry, you're dealing with CEOs and VPs of these big companies, and it's terrifying when you're just this not dumb, but like younger,
ignorant
girl,
not dumb,
even ignorant, just not part of that world really, and like having to deal with these people. It was kind of terrifying. You get used to it.
Yeah, that's ignorance. Like when you're part of a world that you don't understand.
What is that fucking word?
Naivete.
That's it. Naivete.
Because I'm fancy.
Naivete.
Yeah. Naivete.
God, I suck at words. But anyway, that's also for another podcast. We can get into that.
Yeah, that's a whole
thing.
That's not even this podcast, or the next one. That's just a whole different podcast. I don't know.
I think I really would love to do a support staff episode or episodes, like receptionist, admin assistants, executive assistants. I think that would be great, because I was in that world for 10 years, and just some of the things you're asked to do are just so crazy. And so I would love, if you are a support staff or have been in the past and you have a great story, please send it in to fmwlpod@gmail.com.
That's fmwlpod@gmail.com.
Yeah, because I think that would be a really fun episode to do in the future. Anyway.
I would like for someone... I want like an HR podcast.
Oh my God.
Like the shit that HR people have to deal with.
I think because I know they couldn't.
I know they couldn't, but they could, as long as
anonymously.
As long as it couldn't be traced. Just the stories because I know there's people I was on break the other day, and I was walking in with the people I go on break with, and we saw this person, and one of the guys I was with was like, so I don't know if you guys know, but watch out for that dude, because apparently that dude just runs to HR for everything.
Oh, yeah. There's always those people.
And it's like, I want to, not a podcast about the shit people have done at work and HR hears about, but just the petty shit that people go to HR for, because everyone has this stigma about HR that they're the vice principal.
Yeah.
Well, they're the vice principal. So they're there to get people in trouble.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the exact opposite of what HR is supposed to be. I mean, as human resources, you go to them for help.
Right.
It just so happens that all the help that people nowadays want is help to get some other motherfucker fired.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Out of the weeds, into the stories.
Okay. This next story is called Real Life Cartoon Fail. During college, I worked in a very popular nightclub / live music club in Lawrence, Kansas. Kansas? Kansas?
Yeah, Kansas.
Is there? Yeah. Okay. One night, we kicked a girl out for underage drinking. However, she was already at the belligerent drunk stage and decided she wasn't going to accept her ejection. Hey, you can't throw me out. Fight you. I'm going to stay. I'm going to dance. So you can just fuck right off. That's a fun stage to be at.
Yeah.
So She kept trying to get back in by pushing on and kicking at myself and other doormen. That'll work. She then decided to repeatedly kick the glass entrance doors. At one point, she backed up on the sidewalk to take a run at them. Meanwhile, I thought it'd be funny to open the door at the last moment and let her run through, like in the Bugs Bunny / Tom and Jerry cartoons I loved so much growing up. God, I can totally picture that.
Yeah.
And in parentheses, they say, and at that time, I was 21 and still watched Bugs Bunny at 6 a.m. each morning while eating breakfast.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, baby.
Cinnamon life. I lived on 1 to 3 hours of sleep each night, which I now realize was horrible for my future health and maybe for my judgment on occasion. Well, I misjudged the timing just a bit. At the last second, I gave the door, which opened outwards, a super hard push, and it hit her square between the eyes, which caused her to fly back about 5 feet in the air and land on her ass on the sidewalk.
Nice.
I'm just picturing this whole scene in cartoon form.
Yeah.
At that point,
after the door hits her, her arms and legs are out straight.
Just flying,
she's flying back.
At that point, I think cartoon birds actually flew around her head. Now, I'm not terribly demented, but anytime I see something like that, my instant response is to laugh uncontrollably.
This is definitely a girl who wrote this story in, because that's girls. Dudes, we enjoy seeing people get hurt, but like on movies and shit, and we laugh at it. But so many girls that I've met, they cannot control it. Like if someone stumbles and falls down a flight of steps, they feel bad for them 5 minutes later, but they're laughing their ass off as they're watching them tumble down the stairs.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking of all those skateboarding videos where dudes eat shit and all of their buddies laugh their ass off. And there was that whole show. What was that show? Ridiculousness.
Yeah.
Where they're just, so I think it's men and women that will laugh hysterically at that kind of, I don't know. I've never really been one. I'm more of like, ooh, that looks like it hurt, instead of laughing at something like that. But reading this, it sounds
I'm more of the
pretty funny.
Watching people do that stuff and just going, you fucking idiot. How did you not know that was going to happen?
Well, I don't think this girl had any grip on reality at this point. It sounded like she was pretty drunk.
She left her reality in the last beer bottle.
Yeah. Okay, going back. My instant response is to laugh uncontrollably, and then parentheses, just like my 2 older sisters, which is probably where I got it, as they loved to torture me as a child.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what siblings are for.
Yep.
Then I thought, oh shit, I may have knocked her out. Ooh, HR. Fortunately, that wasn't the case. A few seconds after she hit the ground, she sat up. I'm ready to go. Give me a shot.
Yeah. Let's see shots.
Where are we? Where's the next club? Still with a half-dazed, half-stunned look on her face, she began to process the situation and do that drunk girl sob / I'm not gonna cry thing. No, I'm okay. She then got off the sidewalk and, to my utter surprise, walked up to me and apologized for her behavior and simply walked away.
I do not envy this person's job.
No. No. What the ever-loving fuck? Working around drunk people may not always be easy, but it can give you great stories.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm sure this person saw so much working at a nightclub.
Oh, yeah. You know what's crazy is, when you're younger and you're in your early 20s, like, bartender is a cool job. That's a cool
I totally
job.
wanted to be a bartender.
And then you actually live that life. And it's like, oh, it was really fun doing that job until about midnight every night.
Yeah.
And then everyone in the bar is fucking hammered.
Yeah.
And like chicks are just throwing coochie around. Cooters. Throwing their cooter around like
dudes
goddamn frisbee.
Being like toxic masculinity assholes.
Not possible.
Oh, okay.
No, but like just the every night at midnight, you're dealing with fucking drunk people. I mean, I guarantee that most bartenders have to talk to security about throwing at least 3 people out of a bar every single night.
Well, I've known quite a few bartenders living in LA for a few years. Everyone's either a waiter or a bartender while they're trying to make it in the business. Famous. But a lot of them just get drunk along with everyone else to make it bearable, because I don't think you could stay sane and sober being a bartender. Yeah. Unless you're just at a little exclusive nightclub or bar where it's just chill. That would probably be cool, because you'd probably meet some really cool people. But a dance club or nightclub where it's just rowdy and crazy, I would lose my mind. Yeah. But it would be entertaining, I'm sure. It would. To a point.
It would. It would be pretty entertaining.
Yeah. All right, you want to read us our last email of the day?
All right. This one is called Crystal Catastrophe. While working in a small mom-and-pop jewelry store that also offered custom work and repairs, a woman came in with a necklace that had loose stones which needed tightening. She brought out a silver necklace with 2 wire-wrapped crystals. The owner, who did many of the repairs, was inspecting the situation and decided this was a very easy fix. He was a tall man and a bit heavy-handed, but also did great work. He told her he would just tighten the wires by twisting them back into place. As he began to perform this repair, she started screeching at the top of her lungs. Think the sound of Skeksis made in the 1982 film The Dark Crystal, when Jin plunged the shard into the dark crystal, making it whole again. I am lost.
You've never seen The Dark Crystal?
No.
Oh my God. I would say you should watch it, but you probably shouldn't watch it as an adult, because it wouldn't be the same. But
it'd be like a never-ending story.
Oh, yeah, that was so sad when we rewatched that.
Oh, it was such a fucking bummer when we rewatched that. But then we couldn't help ourselves, and we looked up the fucking video of the title song.
Turn around, blah, blah,
tell
blah,
me
blah,
what
blah.
you see.
Which the video was freaking amazing.
Yeah. The Rod Stewart hair, just
that flock of seagulls hairdo. But The Dark Crystal I loved that movie. It was terrifying when I was a kid, but it's probably not something you want to see for the first time as an adult. But I'm trying to remember the sound is it Skeksis or something like that? What they made, it was a really high-pitched, I can't do it, but something like that. So this woman made that noise.
Okay. He froze. I froze. We looked at each other, and then we looked at her. You scratched my crystals together. These crystals must never come in contact with each other. I feel like I'm in the Dark Crystal movie. These crystals have healing powers, and now they are ruined.
Oh, are they gonna open the hell mouth now that they've touched?
My eyes are rolling uncontrollably.
I have to get back to work and read some palms.
And why? Because hippie.
I know.
That's why. Hippie.
It's so funny you don't like hippies, but I have a lot of hippie qualities to me. And you say you love me.
I don't like you.
Okay. Well.
She began to sob, and we assured her they didn't touch, but she wouldn't believe it. She was crying and yelling at us. Other customers in the store began to stare. Well, no shit.
Yeah, okay,
I'm surprised
crazy.
They didn't start screeching and turning into fucking black smoke everywhere.
Everyone's just screaming at everyone.
Like the Dark Crystal. She took her necklace and stormed out screaming and crying. I had to console the owner for days after that episode that he did nothing wrong, and she was way over the top.
Yeah.
Fuck my work life. That's how they ended it.
Yeah. Little branding in there.
Yeah.
I love that the owner was the one that had to be consoled.
Yeah, the dude had to be consoled.
This woman sounds like she needed something.
This woman sounded like
a Xanax?
Yeah, she sounded like maybe she came into the jewelry store for that purpose alone.
Yeah, to cause a stir.
Cause a fucking scene.
People are bored, I guess.
Yeah.
This is like real life trolling.
Yeah. Well, I know people who they go into restaurants and
to specifically get a free meal.
Well, their first thought is, how am I going to make this waiter / waitress so fucking uncomfortable that I get whatever I want? And
hate
for free.
people like that.
And it's
so
like,
much.
fuck. I hate them too.
I cannot stand being in restaurants with people like that.
No.
It's crazy. Was this you that told me this story?
I didn't do it. Told you a story.
We might edit this out too, but someone I knew told me a story where their dad would go into they'd go in a restaurant, family eating dinner, and they'd put a stack of like $1 bills on the table at the beginning when the waitress or waiter would come to introduce themselves, and they'd say, "This is your tip. Every time you mess up, I'm removing $1 from your tip. So whatever's left at the end of the meal."
And they would tell them that?
They would tell them that at the beginning of the meal. Can you just imagine the tension during that entire meal?
I would knock those $1 bills off the table and go, I'm going to fuck everything up now. Yeah. Or you can deal with it.
My grandma was a waitress at a diner, and I think she worked the late shift, and there was a group of teenagers that came in and were just complete dicks to her.
Yeah.
The whole time, sending things back, just being assholes, leaving the table a huge mess, and they left her a 1 penny tip.
Oh.
And my grandma,
well, I mean, in the 20s,
it wasn't the 20s, but my grandma was not like, sweet, I'm gonna bake you cookies, sweetheart. Grandma. She was a smoking, drinking, motorcycle riding badass, and she picked up that penny and walked out, followed them out into the parking lot, and threw it at them.
Fuck yeah. I went.
My grandma was a badass.
There was a little cafe that we used to go to on Saturday mornings, and there was this waitress, Jenna. She was our waitress. We only wanted her to deal with us because she knew us. She was our friend, and but she worked, different areas of the cafe. But she would always come to our table and work our table when we went there. And I saw her, a guy, I guess, didn't like his food. And, waiters and waitresses, it's a very small hourly.
Yeah.
And then plus tips.
Right.
And the tips is where they make their living. That's why people can live in LA and be waiters and waitresses because if
you work at a really high-end restaurant, you're going to get fat tips, hopefully. Yeah. There are still assholes who, if they have a shit ton of money, they won't tip you well.
And I saw this was in San Clemente, which is not like uppity, but some of it is pretty uppity. San Clemente
is the pretty uppity part of Orange County in Southern California, for those of you who don't know.
Yeah, I fucking hate that town. But anyway, I saw her chase this guy out because he didn't like his food, ate it, never said anything.
And just walked out?
Left her a 50-cent tip.
Ugh. Did he pay for his meal?
He paid for his meal, left her a 50-cent tip, and walked out. And she ran after him. We were sitting outside. She ran after him and basically berated him. Wow. Like, this is how I make my living. You didn't say anything. Like, if you would have said something to me about what I did wrong, I would have let you know, and
made it right or tried to make it right.
Or tried to make it right. But you didn't say anything, and you leave me a 50-cent tip. And there was like 6 people at this table. So should not have been a 50-cent tip.
Oh my gosh.
And he paid the bill, but left the 50-cent tip. And he looked at her and he was like, fuck you. Your food is disgusting. And that's completely out of her control.
No, that's not her fault.
That is complete. And I know that like the kitchen gets a percentage of the tips, and it's just like
split it among
it's
everyone.
just like restaurants with bars. The bar gets a percentage of the tips. The kitchen gets a percentage of the tips. And then she came back to our table and told us, this fucking guy.
I tend to over-tip usually just because
I over-tip.
It's such it's not a shitty job. I'm sure a lot of people enjoy it, but it's hard work. And a lot of times, and I think a lot of states, they don't have to pay you minimum wage if you get tips. Some states I think do, but like you said,
it's a small hourly.
Your living is those tips. Yeah. And I don't know, I feel both ways about it. I feel like tipping has become so customary that people in customer service don't go out of their way to do a good job because they just expect to at least get 15 to 20% tips no matter what. But then also there's people that that work really hard to make sure that you have a pleasant experience. And those people definitely overtip,
I overtip, but I also, if you're even a little bit aware of situations and can see situations, if you go into a place and it's fucking nuts and busy and your waitress or waiter is busting their ass and maybe they fuck up a few times, but they've got 10 tables and they've got 10 people at each table and they're trying to get everything. Like, if you're even a little bit aware of situations and can read those situations, that's not their fucking fault.
No, but there's a lot of people that just aren't aware, and their experience is the only important experience in the world.
And that's the problem.
Yeah. I know.
Is that, and I think those people are aware. They just don't give a fuck. They just don't care. Yeah. Because when they enter that restaurant, they're fucking Queen Elizabeth. Right. And if they're not treated like Queen Elizabeth, then...
I mean, I feel like if you were going out to a place and you expect a certain kind of experience, but again, you have to be aware of the situation. Some things are just out of the control of everyone, and you have to be understanding.
Yeah.
But if I go into a place and it's slow and the service is shitty, I will still fucking tip them because I feel guilty if I don't, but they'll probably get 15% instead of like 20 or more.
Yeah. I mean, I've given small tips before, but it's because it's blatant.
Right.
It's laziness. I don't give a fuck from the waiter or waitress.
But even if everything goes wrong, but the person is completely apologetic, trying to do their best, trying to make it right, I will still give them a good tip because it's not their fault. They're human like the rest of us, and they're just trying to do their best, and like shit happens.
Yep.
Anywho, that was a nice little rant.
Yeah. Well,
if you are in the customer service industry and you have some great stories, please send them in.
I think some of those stories would be some of the best stories. Is the shit people have to deal with that are in the customer service industry.
I mean, I'm sure I have some stories from when I worked in the fast food restaurant industry for like 6 years. I just don't remember them. I think I'm going to have to do some like hypnotism to like draw up my memories from my past, because I'm sure.
So what did you want to be hypnotized for?
I want to remember when I worked at the fast food restaurant. There's got to be some good stories in there.
Okay. I want you to count back from 10.
I just got to wait for that dementia to kick in, I guess.
No shit. What time is it? Anyway, all right.
Thank you guys for listening.
Yeah, we hope you guys liked it. We
kind of went off on a rant.
Yeah, that's what it's about. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's what it's all. That's where all the flow comes.
Please send in your stories. All you have to do is pretend like you're talking to a friend about a funny thing or crazy thing that happened to you at work, and just type it up in the body of an email and send it to fmwlpod@gmail.com so we can read it on the pod.
Yeah, just imagine you're sitting around a campfire and you're telling campfire stories. Exactly how you would tell those stories, type them up. Or even...
If you want to like voice record it and email it to us as like, I'm sure you can put it as an attachment as an MP3.
If you wanted to just tell the story, like record the story and send it to us, that would, because we can type it out. We'll do the work for you.
Yeah, we got nothing better to do. But anyway, send in your stories. Please, wherever you listen to your podcast, subscribe, rate, review if you like what you're hearing, because that really helps us get some exposure. Like I think Apple Podcast doesn't start like suggesting your podcast until you get a certain number of rates and reviews. So
yeah, and it
takes a couple seconds.
We enjoy doing it. It's fun telling these stories. It's fun just going back and forth with each other with your stories. So write your stories in.
Yeah.
And
I think the more people that listen, the more stories we're going to get in.
Make us famous.
We don't need to be famous. We just want more stories. I don't want to be famous.
Yeah, me neither.
It sounds horrible.
Yeah. All the cocaine and shit. I don't know. I don't know if I could handle that.
All that cooter.
All that cooter. Just cooter falling out of my pockets.
So anyway, subscribe, rate, and review. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at FMWL And I think that's it.
Yep. Right? That'll be it.
All right, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday.
Yep.
Bye.
Later.